Today on the Landing Space podcast, we are talking about childhood businesses and why we think you need a mentor and a coach, someone to help show you the ropes throughout your life. So, one of my first memories as a young entrepreneur was my grandfather yanking my brother off of a riding lawnmower because he felt that he was not up to the quality of the lawn mowing lifestyle, right? So my grandfather established a sense of earning, business kind of stuff at a young age of my brother and I. What he would do is he would set us up with little tasks. Like, hey, I need the side of my garage painted. It's got some marks. Right. So my brother and I would go over and paint it. And we would paint it, and then he'd pay us $10, right? And he would do little tasks anytime. My grandfather had a farm, had 120 head of cattle, and he always had something that needed to be done. Well, when we went down there and stayed with him, we were responsible to mow the lawn, right? And he had this gigantic 2-acre front yard that you had to drive down to get to his house that we had to mow. And he had 2 riding lawnmowers. Very specific on how he wanted his lawn mowed, right? So he wanted it mowed straight, and then you had to go back over on your last line by about an inch, inch and a half, and mow it straight off of that. And if you missed and you noticed that the grass was higher in spots, he was not happy about it. Well, my brother's riding this riding lawnmower, does his first straight line, right? First straight line's easy. Yeah. Second one, he gets off a little bit. He's not paying a whole lot of attention. So my grandfather, which had a cane at the time, wanders out there and starts yelling at my brother to straighten up his lines. Straightens it up, kind of good to go, keeps running. So then my grandfather notices he's doing it again. He gets my brother to stop the lawnmower. My brother comes off, and he informs him that he needs to do it properly and run back through it. Well, my brother gets a little attitude. My grandfather says, "That's it, you're done." Well, at that point, I'm mowing the lawn. My grandfather goes, "You need to pick up your brother's side." And I doubled my income by having to cover my brother's half of the lawn. My brother still got paid for the little bit that he did, which was small, but my grandfather showed me that if I'm willing to work hard and put in a little bit of extra time, I can make some more money. So now I've realized that if I do more chores around the thing, I'm going to make more money. So my brother would help me do it, but I would ask after we were done what else I could do. Yeah. And so this established that work ethic that I got to by just doing a little bit of extra every time. And I walk away from my grandfather's house with like $100. Yeah. It was very easy to do because he had so much stuff that needed to be done that he needed help with. He was willing to pay my brother and I for it. And so that established that young entrepreneurial spirit, which led into, opening my own business and doing stuff like that. And then gave me that work ethic that I need to go on and do also. And there's been multiple people throughout my life that I can look back on and say, they helped me get to here or do that. And so that mentor coaching ability is always key in our lives.
Right. And I kind of had the same situation with me. Coming from the Philippines, coming here into America, I didn't have anybody to mentor me as far as how to make money here, how to start your own business. But when I was like 10 years old, our neighbor across the street had a lot of animals. He had mules, he had chickens, he had donkeys back there, and a goat, I think, and had some dogs. And every time they'd go on vacation, they'd hire somebody to go and feed all these dogs and all this stuff. And it's like, man, that seems simple. And I asked the guy that they were hiring how much he was getting paid. They're paying him like $50 per day. They would be gone for pretty much, I think, a week.
That's awesome.
So I undercutted the guy.
Right.
I was just basically just the guys that lived across the street from us. They were kind of like family friends, kind of like they knew us. They knew my stepdad and everything like that. So I was kind of offended. They never asked me because they see me doing the work all the time. My stepdad always had me doing a bunch of work in the yard, picking up sticks, doing this and burning it and painting the side of the house and all this stuff. And I never got paid for that stuff. I didn't get money for chores or anything. But so I went over there and asked them, hey, do you want me to watch your animals and just show me what I need to do, show me where all the feeds are. And I undercutted them down to $35 a day.
There you go.
So the guy came in and said, hey, do you want me to feed? It's like, no, we got somebody else to do it. And the guy looked at me. He was like, that's the kid I told how much you guys were paying me. He didn't know I lived across the street.
Yeah.
So I basically took the job from the guy. So they called me ever since then, but they would be gone, 5 to 7 days and $35 a day. Eventually, once I knew that guy wasn't interested in helping anymore, I kind of went up on my price.
Right.
So just went up a little bit, but I still didn't reach that. They were still saving money. They were saving, $10, $5, but per day. But anyway, just that was my first mentality. Like I could pretty much do what I want as long as I'm willing to work hard at it. So, and I've always had that work ethic because I did a lot of stuff. I didn't want to be at home all the time because if I was at home, I did a lot of chores. So
yeah.
And I told one of my buddies that had his dad had a farm and asked me. I wasn't of age to actually legally work, so I said if you need me to help you out, I just helped him out and I was there. They buy me some food and stuff, but he ended up paying me helping bale hay. That was probably one of the hardest jobs I've ever had to do.
Yeah.
Baling hay sucked.
Yeah, I've done it.
Yeah, baling hay sucked, and I worked basically the summer with him, but I made the summer I made like $5,000.
Really?
And I didn't ask to be paid. He just kind of paid me for my time and
Yeah.
stuff like that. And I was like 15, and eventually my birthday's like in July, so I became 16. He officially made me a contractor.
There you go.
So but yeah, just working hard. But I realized that even though baling hay was so difficult, I didn't have to ask my parents for any money. I made my own money.
Yeah.
I basically figured out I know how to do this, and as long as you put your hard work and don't worry about putting that effort in it. Don't worry about just staying at home all the time was detrimental. That I had to leave the house because I just couldn't stay at home. It was Tennessee, middle of nowhere.
Right.
But that established into me having that mentality, and I played a lot of sports, so I already knew the hard work into that you had to put into stuff. Being good at what you are involved in.
Yeah.
It takes practice. So, but eventually throughout the years, after I graduated high school, I met several people during that time that just showed me that work ethic, and they all had the same advice for me. Don't ever let anybody tell you can't do it.
Right.
The only person that'll ever stop you from doing something is yourself, right? So you got a lot of negativity out there. People will tell you, oh, it's too hard to do this. Well, it's too hard because you say it's too hard.
Yeah, mindset's key. Anytime you're dealing with any of this stuff, your ability to say I can do it or work your way through it is key.
Right, and just surrounding yourself with those type of mentorship, with the positivity, that people that have had success, that are not scared to put the hard work into it. Those are the people. I've met several of them that starting out the business that I have now. I've met one good guy, and he trusted me enough to invest in me, and just saw the hard work that I put into it, and man, that led to what I have now.
Yeah.
So
I've had the same thing. I can remember when I started in real estate.
Yeah.
I started off at a local company called Allen Tate, and here in North Carolina and South Carolina, it's a pretty big firm.
Yeah.
And they have their headquarters is in Charlotte, and so they have a local branch here in Triangle, Raleigh. And so I started off there working. And one of the agents in there, I didn't know what I was doing. You come out of school, you've got a little bit of a knowledge, but you don't know how to fill out a contract. You have no idea what's going on.
Right.
And so she took the time to help me do it and say, hey, I've got some open houses. If you want to jump in there and do that, that'd be great. And so I was able to start showing some of her open houses, kind of getting the feel for the ropes. And she helped guide me along. Then what happened was she ended up saying, hey, I kind of like this. I want to go and be a broker in charge for a local firm called Go Realty.
Yeah.
And so she asked me to come over. I ended up joining Go Realty. And that mentorship and that knowledge that I gained from that relationship has helped me to start my own real estate firm and to help other agents, and for me to believe like, hey, like I really enjoy spending time and coaching and mentoring other people to get to the point that, they're successful and they can rely on that and go from there.
Yeah.
And that's one of those things that I really, really do like. But I would have never known that if I hadn't had that person that had shown me and helped me do that and get me there. And so, and I've seen that throughout my life. People have helped me specifically in my career, in my jobs, with my family. And it's really been that great outlet to help me look at my life and say, hey, this is how I should grow.
Yeah. And the good qualities is to in a mentor is somebody that knows that failure is a must.
Right.
In what you do. So, and I have the one guy that's Mike. I've seen him. He's about my age, but man, he basically has had so much success in his life. He went into school for business and just ventured out in so many different things. And his motto is like, if I don't know how to do it, it doesn't stop me from figuring out how to do it.
Right.
So, and he says other people are being successful in this industry. He told me, he gave me that mindset. Once you establish something that's successful, you have to keep up with time. So he told me to always be open-minded in as far as business, what other ventures that are out there, but at the same time, do not overwhelm yourself. So this is, and I had another guy, that did the same thing for me. He invested in me, and I started an ultrasound company, and it's a mobile ultrasound, and it did pretty well, and then I ended up selling it off. I didn't grow as much as I wanted to, but and I started a couple of other companies, and he saw it fail, but he still invested into me. When I started up the company that I had now, he's one of the guys that gave me an investment because he knew I kind of got screwed from a previous business venture that I had, but he knew that I would not stop trying, so he gave me the capital to start. Even though he saw me fail, he told me, "You're still trying, so I'm here to help you." So until that time, he never asked for me to pay him back, but the confidence that he had in me gave me the motivation to actually bust my butt even harder, just so I could prove him. And I was able to pay him back within a year. For some, for a lot of people, you're not able to pay that amount of money that he gave me. You're not able to pay that back usually within 10 to 15 years. But I was determined to make sure I paid it back.
Right.
But just having somebody that believes in you and knows that failure is a must to be able to succeed in life.
Yeah, no matter what you do, you're going to fail. I mean, there's really no way to get around it. Like, you're going to have ups and downs and heartache. The goal is to have less heartache, but to learn from those mistakes to make sure it doesn't happen again.
Yeah, success doesn't come without failure.
Yeah, no matter what you do, it's going to take
place.
Yeah,
it's part of the learning process.
Right.
And any good entrepreneur knows that, and they've been through that same situation. No matter what industry you're in, there's always going to be a constant fluctuation in the economy where you're going to have success in certain things and failures in certain things. But the key is you got to keep moving and try to make sure you strive for success, because failure, it's a learning process.
Yeah. Especially in real estate. Real estate's one of those things that you're going to fail more than you're going to succeed.
Yeah.
Because you're going to get, you're going to pull in a bunch of people that are saying they're interested in buying a house. Yeah. And you're going to run through those lists, and you're going to make those phone calls and send that thing. And you're going to go through, 100 people, and you might get 3 people that are actually able to do it. But the thing is, a lot of people will stop at that initial miscontact. They won't keep following up, and they won't keep going after it. And so then the problem is that, if you do that, most people don't respond to you the first time you call. Like, if I see a phone number that calls that is somebody I don't know, I mean, I will actually answer the majority of the time, but a lot of people won't. Right. And they'll ignore it. And the only reason I answer is because I know that it could be somebody calling me back that I've called earlier. Yeah. And I'm not saving that number. I have no idea who it is. So I'll answer it, but a lot of people won't. And I've been that way too. Like, I will ignore that number and send it to voicemail and hope that the person leaves a voicemail if they need me.
Yeah, and it makes it difficult nowadays because there's so many frauds and scams out there to utilize telemarketing schemes,
right?
Everything like that. But you just gotta fight through it. If you look at it, being an entrepreneur is like being a football player.
Yeah. You're
gonna have to keep your composure. You're gonna have to learn from different businesses out there that have different playbooks, right?
Yeah.
It's like in football, you play a team, they have different playbooks than you.
Yeah.
They have different strategies to accomplish that win, and they all have the drive to win.
Right.
So being an entrepreneur, you should have the same mentality. You should have the drive to win. You should have the open-mindedness of being able to select different plays, different strategies to bring success to your business.
Yeah. I think that first success is always key, though. Yeah. Whenever you hit that first sale or that first goal that you have in mind, and then after that, you're able to work your way much better through the, controversy and the chaos and everything else that takes place with it.
Oh yeah, because it builds motivation for you. It builds your confidence when you have that first sale.
Right.
And that gives you the drive to do anything that you want to in your business. So I think that just finding the key thing is always surround yourself to to get to that success, always surround yourself with the same like-minded people, positivity. With people that don't really care about what other people think. Sometimes there's so many people out there to say we can't do things. And again, I'm always gonna put myself as being that person that's accountable if I can't do something.
Right.
Because that means I gave up. I have nobody else to blame except for myself.
Yeah.
So, and I learned that was the biggest thing for me to learn from my mentors was that because I had such a big pride, I didn't want to confess that it was my fault that I failed in.
Yeah.
So, and that's one of the biggest lessons that I heard. I always have taken away from these two guys that mentored me. The biggest guys that mentored me is that always take accountability for your failures and your success.
Yeah, I agree.
So, and that was just the biggest influence for me is just knowing that. And I actually have that in my in my office. I have that kind of put out in a plaque in my office so I can see it.
Yeah.
So that way I'll never forget it. So, but yeah, that's one of the biggest things for me to just move forward, man. And the economy nowadays makes it difficult. Like right now, depending on the industry you're in, we're all suffering from it. There's a lot of staff shortage, and it's ridiculous.
Right.
And a lot of people have shut down shop. I'm not gonna lie to you and say, is it easier just for me to shut down right now? I've thought about it because it's just so difficult. But you know what? I'm having to work it myself, which brings me back to what I did in the first place to start this business. Was I put my own sweat into it and got in there and did the job myself.
Yeah.
So I'm just bringing back to that until the economy gets a little better. You can't be scared to do that, especially now that it's ridiculous. People are wanting higher pay, but the economy doesn't recognize it. People are wanting higher pay, and then the salary ranges for everything and the reimbursement for my industry, it just keeps going down, but then the salary keeps going up. But it's eventually gonna have somebody's gonna have to get it.
Right.
Yeah. So.
Yeah, we're running the same problem with it. Interest rates keep on going up. People are saying, "Hey, we're gonna wait. We're gonna get a better market. We're gonna see if housing prices go down." The problem is our area specifically. We have so many people moving here, and we have such a good economy currently. Even with that happening and the interest rates going up, we saw people that are buying. So I don't think we're going to see the drop in home prices like everybody believes that you're going to see around the country.
I think the other places, like you're saying, will drop. But where we are, so many businesses, huge businesses like Apple and stuff, is coming in.
Yeah.
I mean, that's going to bring the heavy hitters coming in town. So that's a lot of real estate. I don't think it's going to drop like people are going to think, but I think that everywhere else will drop not in the rural areas where it doesn't have that availability.
Yeah.
But anyway, what we take out of this conversation with you guys is that find yourself a mentor. Don't be discouraged to make mistakes and follow in their guidance. That's it for our episode. We'll see you next time. Tune in to all of our podcasts and all the streaming channels, the Landing Space Podcast.